Hey, Moses here with Cabandana Academy. I want to show you how to edit a podcast, a video podcast, using CapCut on a Mac specifically. Why on a Mac? I don't know. Let's get into it. Okay, so when you first open CapCut, this is what you see. It is simply a really simple setup. You have one, two, three, and then your timeline is gonna be down here. Now, I already imported a video here, right? If you haven't, you're gonna click import, and then you're gonna bring in your video so that it's gonna show up over here. Okay, so let's just assume that you already imported your video, and now you wanna edit it. Now, I don't know if you can do audio only podcast. You can do audio and video podcast. If you have an audio only, I'll show you how you can do that. You can export audio only, but for now, in order to import, you can import audio and video. So let's assume that you have an audio or video here. You're gonna drag it down here, and just like that, you have added your very first video onto the timeline. I don't know why I paused there. Okay, so the main thing that I want to hit home here is that you have a free software and you have a relatively inexpensive entry level into podcast editing, and you're doing it all on your own. We're going to avoid all the paid versions, all the paid features of CapCut. We're just gonna stick with everything that we know that is free as of July 2024. Okay, let's just dive right back into it. Okay, so here you've dragged your footage here, or your sound, and just another thing. The extent of this tutorial is relatively simple. We're not gonna go into some deep stuff, some deep editing stuff. We're not gonna try to make crazy editing or sound transition, sound engineering. Nothing too complex. We're keeping it simple. We're going to learn how to trim the beginning, trim the ending. We're going to learn how to extract some of the mistakes that we've made. And we're going to learn how to add captions. Maybe. Okay, maybe. Okay, so let's say you started your podcast and maybe there's a mistake that you made right at the very beginning. It's a bit cumbersome to edit um, using the touchpad. I don't have a mouse. I should have a mouse, but so let's say right at the beginning here, we see that there is a little bit of room where I'm not saying anything. It's pretty. There's like there's nothing happening there, and you can see that. You can tell that because here you have those sound waves that are going up and down, but here at the beginning there is nothing. I haven't said anything yet. I'm about to say hey there, and you can see that. So let's say I want to get rid of that. I'm just gonna go to the very beginning here and press and just drag it right to about there, right where I start to say, hey there, fellow citizens of the internet. Welcome to the Moses Cabandana podcast, because it is my podcast. Check it out. Okay, let's jump right back into it. So I've trimmed the beginning. Now I want to trim the very ending. I want to go all the way to the ending of the podcast, because maybe I said, hey, I'll see you in the next episode. And then there was some ruffles, some tuffles before I hit stop recording. So we're going to go to the very ending. We're going to trim that out too. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to zoom out here and we're going to come to the very end here. We're going to zoom in. And I already edited this podcast. So you're not gonna see any like length, any empty space at the ending there. But let's say I wanted to end it here, where I stop speaking, right? For if I want to if I want to end it there, cheapers, I cannot speak today. I click on the timeline and I drag right to right there, right where I want to end speaking and the podcast. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it as far as trimming the beginning and trimming the ending. But sometimes you made a mistake somewhere along the podcast and you want to cut out certain things. Let's say between minute 10 and like 10:05, you said nothing and you want to remove that silence. Let me show you. Okay, gonna jump right back into it. Minute 5. Let's see. I'm gonna zoom out here, and you can see the time right. Let me see. Can I show me and the screen while you're seeing that? And minute 05, you can see on the bottom right, bottom left of the screen there. As I'm scrubbing, you can see the time go by. So a minute 05 is gonna be, that's 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Fifth minute is right there. It's going by too fast. So minute 5, right about there. That's good enough. 5:04. Let's say I made a mistake there. Okay, I click on it and I do Command if you're on a Mac. Well, this is a Mac tutorial. You do Command B, or you have these little uh, tools here. We're gonna hit Split, and just like that, we created a little space. That what it does is it divides the sound and the video in half. It creates a place for us to insert audio, but also to remove audio, just like we're about to see. Let's get back into it. I'm gonna zoom in and I'm gonna go from 5 minute to 5 minute and 5 seconds. Let's see if I can do that. That's 5 and 7 seconds. 5 minutes and 5 seconds, right? Or 5 frames. Yeah, right there. Tap the sound again and split the sound. And just like that, I have this chunk, right? At the beginning. Oh, actually, you want to see me in the screen. I have this chunk at the beginning, I have this chunk at the end, and then this little chunk in the middle that's 5 seconds long. That's what I want to like delete. So I highlight it, right? Let me show you the screen. I highlight it, and then I just come here and I hit delete. And just like that, we have removed a mistake. Now, you can obviously go through the entire podcast, listen to it carefully. Ideally, if you were taking notes during the podcast, which it requires a whole other skill set, and you know exactly where the mistakes are, you can do that manually. Go through based on your notes, remove those mistakes, or you can listen through the entire thing. This episode is like 41 minutes long, so it would have been a lot to go through. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So we've trimmed the ending, the beginning and the ending, and we've added sound. We haven't added sound. What am I talking about? We've removed mistakes. And now let's say you want to add captions. Let me show you. Okay. Here at the top left here, or almost top left, we have the captions button. Super simple. We're going to click captions, and you have this auto captions that are provided by CapCut for free. Now, there are some added on expenses, like if you want to do, like it says here, bilingual captions or auto highlights. So as you're speaking, the word that you're saying gets highlighted. Okay. It is very useful depending on the platform that you're doing. It would not make much sense for this 41-minute long podcast to have the words highlighted left. I mean, maybe it does. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So auto captions. I select my language here. There's quite a few languages that are provided, that are supported, should I say? Um, and just like that, you hit generate, and what CapCut is gonna do is it's gonna go through the entire conversation, all 40 plus minutes of it, 41 minutes, I think, and it's gonna extract everything that I say, everything that my guest says. I'm the host, and it's gonna create a text version of it. Some of these things might be super boring for some of you, but it might be completely new for others. So that's why I'm going, super slow and explaining some of these things. But in the end, I'm also buying time because CapCut is like, let me show you, it's still processing here. We're at 45%. So it's gonna extract out what I say, what my guest says. It's gonna turn it into a text, which is just amazing that we live in a time like this. Because before you would have to hire someone that goes through your podcast and listens to it and types it out manually into a text form. Duh. And then that becomes a caption, right? They manually input the text into the video, and sometimes having to layer them by speaker. I mean, it's just it was like super complicated. So by back on the screen here, it's gonna do some transcription both, And what we're gonna do with that is actually what some people do, which is kind of clever, is if you have a blog for your podcast, this allows you to take all this text that's been auto-generated, and you can create a blog with it. So you don't, so you're hitting like nine birds with like one stone, right? Not nine literally, but like you have the podcast that you recorded, assuming that you really love that, and you get value from it, right? And then you can take a step further and have this like automated um, um caption creation. That's already a lot of value for like a really short amount of time. And then you can take that caption and make it into a blog. Okay, CapCut is done. Okay, so now we have all these like little brown thingies at the top of our clip. All of this is the transcription that was created. And by the way, the speed of your computer is gonna matter here. And you're gonna see here how my computer is gonna start to slow down a little bit. It's starting to get overheated. Okay, so let's jump into it. So here is everything that's been said. And let's say that I I want to change, excuse me, I want to change what's been said. Not audibly, but let's say the auto transcription got my name wrong. Cheapers. The pronunciation of of my name wrong. So again, not phonetically, but let's say here. I say, hey, my name is Citizens Moses Kabandana. Okay, as you can see on the screen here, it's spelled Kabandana with a C, which is supposed to be with a K. If I want to change it, it's super simple. I just highlight there, and I come to the screen here, and oh, where is it? Da Citizens Kabandana, and oh, come on. I click on it, and then I come here onto the screen. I click on the screen, and if I double tap, it allows me to edit. So I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna delete this C, I'm gonna replace it with a K, and oops, and just like that, we have Moses Kabandana. Now you can see that it's a bit harder to read because of the style that I chose, and I'm using the free version. So if I had the paid version, or if I wanted to pay for certain colors and fonts and all of that, and all the balding and whatnot, it would make a huge difference. But this is just to show you what is possible with the free version. And I'm not playing around with it too much. So, anyways, once you're done, let's say you've listened to it, you like what it says, everything here seems great, all the words match, and you're ready to export. It's super simple. Export meaning like you're ready to be done creating the podcast. You're gonna cheapers. Where am I? Okay. Maybe I'm in full screen. I should cut all of this out so it doesn't get so long. But I come here to File on the top left. I scroll down. I have Export. I hit Export, and now this is where I get to choose the format. If you are creating a video podcast, video and audio podcast, or if you're creating an audio only podcast, this is where you make that decision. So if we jump back here, if I'm creating an audio only podcast, I'd have to check this off so that it exports only the audio. So I'm going to check audio here, and I'm going to choose the format here. And I typically go with wave form, but it's it you can hardly go wrong with MP3. So I'm gonna do MP3 for most of us, and with captions, and this is where they get you, right? This is where they get you. If you're gonna export the captions, the SRT, that you see that little pro thingy that it says there, you have to pay for it. You gotta pay for it. So I don't really like all of that. So I cannot export. I have to join Pro in order to export the captions. So we're gonna keep that deselected, and then we're gonna hit export. Now, of course, I already created this podcast. I already published it. It's already on multiple platforms. The Moses Cabanana podcast, if you want to listen to it. And so I'm not gonna export it here, but you get the point. If you already have a computer and you want to create a video or a video only, oh, cheapers, a video and an audio podcast. CapCut is free. You already have a computer. You can get it done. Start with the tools that you have and try to add on more tools if they serve the purpose of allowing you to produce content, produce your podcast better, or with a short amount of time, giving you more time to do the things that you really want to do. Anyways, this is already like too long, so I'm gonna keep it short. Was kind of long. If you need more help with your podcasting journey, I'm gonna leave some links down in the description below. I can give you a free 30-minute call, just you and I, so we can figure out where you are in your podcasting journey, and then we can try to see how we can help you. And that's it. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.